Hello and welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to discuss performing a currency strength analysis using the text version of the Pipnotic currency strength software. Okay, first of all, the reason that we want to perform a currency strength analysis is to assess which currencies are strong and which ones are weak, and thus which currencies we should be pairing and what direction we should be trading them. So using this version of the indicator is tremendous because it's showing you an incredible amount of information on one screen, and so you can simply see all of this information on one screen without having to click through the charts. So you can see that we have a bunch of different colors. Green means this currency is strong, red means this one is weak, and so ideally you want to be buying the strong one and selling the weak one. Okay, when you look at this, if you're looking at this and you're feeling confused by what it's showing you, then it's probably not a good time to trade. You can see that we have strength here on the euro, we have weakness on the yen. That's good, but if you're not getting any clear signals, then don't trade. You should be forcing stuff, and if you feel that you're having to force stuff, then you should probably switch off the computer and come back at a later stage, because it's there's nothing there for you to do. So don't force it, that's very important. And also, don't overcomplicate it. There are a few settings in the indicator here, but there isn't one size fits all. There isn't the magic combination. It simply doesn't exist. There are a few different options, and you're welcome to experiment with these options, but there isn't one combination that works better than the other. There is a general combination of settings that works pretty good most of the time, but there's probably another one that's better. And so the settings that we're going to talk about now are just ones that you could definitely use to give you insight into what should be bought and what should be sold. But I don't want you to get like nitpick and really find, okay, if I put it on 13.5 or whatever, and I put that one on 3, then I have a magic combination. It doesn't exist. So really, I really encourage you to stop trying to search for this magic combination. I'm just going to talk about some super simple ways to configure it, and I suggest that you leave it at that. But you are absolutely, positively welcome to experiment a little bit and see if you can find something else that works better for how you trade. Okay, so the indicator works in 4 different modes. We have very short term, we have short term, we have medium term, and we have long term. And so if you're a short term trader, you like a little bit of action, put it on the scalp setting like that. Okay, then we have periods to show, 6. This simply shows 6 periods, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're looking at 6 different time frames. So this is the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, 1 hour, and 4 hour. So this is showing us a really nice selection of information. Then we have the look back, and this one really confuses a lot of people. A lot of people spend too much time on trying to find the magic combination, and I receive emails saying, okay, if I found that if I put it on 7, then it works good, but if I put it on 13, like you say, then it doesn't work, or something else. There isn't a magic combination, so really avoid trying to find one. The general recommendation that I have is to keep it on 5 or above, and maybe not go above, I don't know, 34 or 21. I like to put it on about 13, 8 or 13. This works good for me, and so this is what I'll recommend that you use, but you're free to use which other setting is available there. Okay, then we have the enable look back average, which I have set to false. This simply calculates an average of the strength information instead of focusing on like the close of strength information across the 28 different currency pairs. So, but you can test that as well if you like. Good. And then we have the prefix and the postfix. If your MT4 platform adds some characters before a symbol, you want to add them here. If it adds characters after the symbol, you want to add them here. So super simple. Then you press OK, and everything should be cruising. Okay, so now it's set in the short-term trading configuration. I mean, what does that mean? Well, now you want to look for a strong one, which is strong throughout most of this row here, and you want to see a weak one throughout most of the row, and you can see that we have that here. We have the euro is strong, and we have the Japanese yen, which is weak. So we're going to go to this pair now, the euro Japanese yen. So you can see here that this is a pair that we want to be buying shorter term. So this is scalping. So these are trades that are going to generally be held for sometimes minutes, no more than like an hour or so, depending on what goes on. And so here, you know that you want to be buying this, and now you focus on the supply and demand software to tell you where to get in. So this software here shows you what to trade, and this software here shows you when and where to trade. So if we have a quick look, you can see that we have quite a lot of areas of demand that we can buy. Before you do anything, I want you to go into the higher time frame, maybe click on the 4-hour, the daily, and have a look and see if you are reacting to greater period, in this case supply, if you're selling demand. And you can see here that we are actually reacting at daily and 4-hour nested areas of supply. What does that mean? Well, that means price is probably going to go down. And so this might be one of those trades that you would pass on, or a trade that you would manage very aggressively to ensure that your risk is removed as soon as possible. It doesn't mean you can't buy, it just means that price is going to have to go through all of this liquidity in order to continue higher, which it probably isn't going to do. So just keep that in mind. And so on the smaller time frames, you go down and you would see that this trade has actually likely already happened. The buy was down here at this area of demand, and then price went higher. If you go to the smaller time frame again, you can actually see that we do have some micro areas of demand that you could consider for a trade. We have one down here, we have the parent, we have the child, so you could consider buying around here at the 123.07 area. Alternatively, have another area down here just below, which is roughly just below the big figure, and these are a couple of 5-minute entries that you could consider to buy at for the shorter term. Okay, so that was shorter term trading. What about a longer term? I'm not going to cover all of the configurations because they're pretty much the same, but we are going to have a closer look at the longer term. And for the longer term, I like to look at, for example, swing configuration. So we'll put it on swing. We'll leave the rest of the settings the same. We'll press OK. And then what do we have here? Well, here we have the same thing. We have the euro being bought and the yen being sold. Because this is swing trading, the indicator is focusing a lot of time on the weekly and the daily. And so you want to, this is the trend. This is a long-term trend, the weekly. The medium-term trend is the daily, and the entry time frame is going to be the 4-hour here. For the scalp, we're going to look at the 4-hour is going to be the trend, like the long term. The 1 hour is going to be the medium term, and the entry time frame is going to be the half an hour or the 50-minute chart. And so on this one here, with the long term, we want to be buying on the 4-hour chart. So you go to the 4-hour chart and you have a look and you say, okay, are there any areas of demand here that we could buy at? And you can see there are a couple. We have a pretty nice one down here, and most importantly, we have this one here, which looks like this. So this here is actually, this is a parent and this is the child, because this is a reaction to this, and this was established independent of anything else. The price rallied, accumulated rallied, we tested the area, and now it went up. And so a good trade for this would be buying the euro Japanese yen at the 120.55 area, which is at the high of this accumulation candle. Super simple. Okay, so that could be something you could consider. Alternatively, we can see down here we have a daily area with a 4-hour area nested within it, and you could simply buy at the edge of this box like the indicator shows us at the, let's just find that, at the 115.30 area, something like that. And the stop for this one would have to be no more than about 45 or 50 pips, so that was quite nice. Yeah, so that's it. It's super simple. And again, if you get confused by looking at the information, then don't trade, don't do anything, just wait. Okay, let's have a look at one other example, and let's say that we want to look at, look at long-term trading here, and we want to look at maybe a look back that's slightly faster. So we go to the 5, put it on 5. I wouldn't go below that. Go like that. And what do we have here? We see we have pretty much the same thing going on. We have the euro being bought across the boards. So if we go here and we drag euro pairs over here, they're all going to be moving up, 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 up. You can see all of them are moving higher. every single one of them. And so that's very clear. If you look here, you see the Japanese yen. These yen pairs, this one is going to be moving higher. 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 This one is going to be probably flat. Yeah, because you can see they're both pretty weak. Yeah, and this one is probably going to be moving higher as well. Yes, you can see it's pretty clear. This stuff, you look at this and you'll be able to answer the question immediately. Okay, what is the pair going to look like when I put it on the chart? You can see this. We have a strong with a weak. It's going to be moving higher. If you have weak ones here, like the Aussie Japanese yen, this is going to be moving sideways, as you can see here. If we look at the Euro Swiss franc, this is probably going to be moving sideways. Where is that? Here. You can see it's moving sideways. It's consolidating. And so this is why you want to be picking the pairs that are moving in one direction, that are trending. If you want to trade sideways pairs like this one, then you want to be selling at the highs and buying at the lows. You don't want to be trading in the middle here, because you're probably going to lose on the trade. You want to make sure that you're selling at the highs and you're buying at the lows. If we have a look at the Aussie Japanese yen, like we did before, you can see here this is also moving sideways. We have Aussie is weak, the Japanese yen is weak, so you want to be buying down here and you want to be selling up here, buying at the lows and selling at the highs. So it's pretty simple. Okay, good. And again, I wouldn't get too worked up about the settings here. There are very few settings, and I really want you to ensure that you're keeping it as simple as possible, because it really doesn't have to be complicated, and it shouldn't be. Okay. Okay, good. And then we have this one, which I like to use. This is the histogram indicator, which is a little gem. And how can I use this in relation to this other the text version of the indicator? Well, just so that you know, the engine in this indicator is identical to the engine in this indicator, but the information you're being shown is different. This is showing you the strength of the individual currencies. This is showing you the difference of the strength of the two currencies that you can view on the chart. So this is the difference between the euro and the Japanese yen. You can see when it is above the zero line, you buy. When it is below, you sell. Pretty simple. You can see you buy here and you sell down here. Very, very simple. But another thing that you can use it for is to assess if an area of supply or demand is going to hold. You can see here on the right hand side, the euro Japanese yen we should be buying. So let's move that on here, the euro Japanese yen. And then you can see here, you can use this to look for something like currency strength divergence, to tell you if this level is going to hold or not. And you can see that we have highs. I mean, the difference between these two currencies is increasing, so the euro is getting stronger in relation to the Japanese yen. But as soon as it poked into this area of daily supply, we started to slow down already here. You can see the difference started to get smaller. What does that mean? Well, that means that this area is probably going to hold and price is going to move lower. So this might be a trade that you would want to sell on. Sorry, you would want to pass on. You wouldn't want to buy this currency pair at the moment until currency strength histogram is showing you that this is something that you should consider. If we have a look at, for example, the Aussie Japanese yen, you can use it for the same purpose here, and you can see that here we have a high. This should be traded as a range bound market because they are both weak. So you sell at the highs and you buy at the lows. You can use the histogram here to show us a little bit about where and when to sell and buy. And you can see we have a high in price, we have a higher high in price, we have a high in the histogram and a lower high. What does that mean? Well, that means that we have currency strength divergence here. That means that this area roughly around here would be ideal for selling at, because we have divergence. This price is not, so the Australian dollar is not continuing to get strong in relation to the Japanese yen, and so you can sell it here. This is telling us that this area is probably going to hold in the future. We had another example of that just here. We had a low in price, a lower low in price. We had a low in the histogram and a higher low. What does that mean? That means you don't want to continue to sell. You want to wait for price to either break a trend line or to consume an opposing area of supply, which it did here when price moved above this. Yeah, so it's a really nice tool to use in collaboration with this one just here. And so I suggest that you maybe have your charts looking similar to this, and you use this to assess whether an area is going to hold or not. And so you trade in line with this, and you use the histogram to show you whether or not the trade is likely to be a success or not. Sometimes this will show you a level that you should not trade and it would have worked out anyway. Sometimes it's not going to show you a level that you should have traded but you didn't. But that's just the way it goes. It's not going to work every time, but the probability of it working is higher than it not working. And so again, trading is a game of probabilities, and so you need to focus on the stuff that is going to work most of the time. Cool. Okay, I will leave it at that. If you have any questions about these two indicators or how to use them, perhaps watch the video once more, and if you still have questions, you're more than welcome to send them in to me. Thanks for watching.